Hello everyone and hello Mr. Shafrianto. I'm Yesika Primandani. Review of syntax material. 1. Identification the material. The main topic we learned in this session is syntax, which is the branch of linguistics that studies how words are arranged and combined to form pairs, clause, and sentence. The core definition of syntax, the set of rules that determine sentence structure. The purpose of studying this topic is to help students understanding how sentences are built, distinguish different types of pairs and clause, and analyze sentence pattern more systematically rather than relying only in institution. 2. Concept to theory. Several important concepts were introduced, including parse, a group of words without a subject and verb; clause, a group of words containing a subject and verb, independent vs dependent; sentence, a complex unit consisting of C plus V; types of pairs, NP, non-pairs, FP; verb pairs, PP; prepositional pairs, adjective, and had the core word within a pair such as the noun in an NP. Language comparison. Example from English, Japanese, and Latin to show difference in sentence structure across languages. K-turn, parse, clause, hard, continuous, independent clause, dependent clause, NP, or VP or PP. Concept difference. Syntax studies the structure of sentence, while morphology focuses on the internal structure of word. The material is supported by three diagrams, pairs table, and sentence breakdown that visually explain how each element functions within a sentence. 3. Example and application. Example discussed in class include: the student studies English at the university and NPSP demonstrates NP plus VP structure with PP as a place adverbial. I study English because I want to travel abroad, and NPSP show the destination between the main clause and the subordinate clause. Comparison among English, Japanese, and Latin illustrates that different languages follow different syntactic rules. The easiest example for me to understand is: the student studies English at the university because the NP-VP-PP pattern is very clear. Their example helped me see how is word function with a sentence structure. I can also create new examples such as: my friend is reading a book in the library. They walked slowly because it was raining. 4. Relationship with other topic. Syntax is closely related to morphology because the form of word determines their function in pairs. Phonology and phonetic. Pronunciation influences word form and how they combine. Semantic. Sentence structure affect meaning. Phonetic explains sound prediction. Phonology organizes sound patterns. Morphology builds word. Syntax arranges words. Semantics interprets meaning. Difficult and challenge. The most challenging part for me is distinguishing dependent clause from independent clause in longer sentences. Construction tree diagram is also difficult because it requires identifying the record head, subordinator, and pars pro terrace, sometimes as involved verb, constituents, and subordinator, and difficult at first. Although the examples are helpful, more illustrations are needed for complex sentences. Lexical variation can also affect syntax because different languages have different word order. A yes, CFO vs CFOV, seek conclusion and personal understanding. From this material, I learned that sentences are not formed randomly. They follow consistent structural rules. Syntax helped me understand grammar more deeply, analyze academic texts, and improve my 5 difficult and challenge. The most challenge part is distinguishing similar parts, structure, and determining the head of a PP or AP. Terms like constituents and branching can also be confusing. Some examples are clear, but more complex parts need additional illustration. Seek conclusion and personal understanding. I learned that every sentence has a structure that can be analyzed scientifically. Understanding tree diagram helped me understand grammar better, analyze text more effectively, and avoid mistakes in writing and speaking. 7. Suggestion for improvement. The material will be easier with more examples of complex sentence, step-by-step practice, and summary table of part structures. To remember the material, I usually redraw the diagram and practice creating the diagram for new sentence. And thank you. Review of tree diagram material. 1. Identification the material. The topic we learned this session is syntax, specifically tree diagram analysis. A tree diagram is a visual representation that shows the structure of sentence and the relationship between words and phrases, such as NP, VP, PP, and AP. The purpose of learning this material is to understand how sentences are formed and to analyze grammatical structure more accurately, concept and theory. The material introduces basic parts, types, NP, VP, PP, AP, recognition, type of determinants, type of preposition, and common structure like NP plus VP. Important terms include head modifier, constituents, branches, and nodes. Unlike linear analysis, tree diagrams show the hierarchical structure of a sentence. Per structure diagram table of determiners and example of AP, NP, and PP help clarify the concept, example, and application. The example analysis in class include: she is very beautiful, there are many students, I'm afraid of spiders, and she works in the morning. The Asian example to understand is she very beautiful because the structure is simple. These examples show how a word function within a phrase. I can also create additional examples such as the cat slept on the sofa and he is extremely tired. For relation to other topic. Tree diagram relate to morphology, word structure, phonology, pronunciation, and semantic meaning. Phonetic and phonology explain how sound from word. Morphology explain how words are built, and syntax how words combine into sentence. 5. Defaults and challenge the reading and speaking skill. The most important thing I gained is the ability to identify pairs, clauses, and their function, making grammar more logical and easier to apply. 7. Suggestion for improvement. To make the material easier, I think it would be helpful to include more exercises on identifying pairs and clauses, step-by-step practice with tree diagram, summary table of pairs and clause difference, an example of various difficulty levels. To review the materials, I usually make my math to practice question and break down sentence from article I read. So, and thank you.